Columbus, Georgia. This is your city council. Mayor, Skip Henderson.
City Manager, Tyson Begley. Simi Barnes, District 1.
Glenn Davis, District 2. Bruce Huff, District 3. Toya Tucker, District 4. Charmaine Crabb, District 5. Gary Allen, District 6. Joanne Kogel, District 7. Walker Garrett, District 8.
Kathy Cook, District 9, At-Large Council.
Travis Chambers, District 10, At-Large Council. Lindsay McLemore, Clerk of Council. And City Attorney, Clifton Fay. Columbus, Georgia. This is your City Council.
Welcome as we call the August 11th City Council meeting to order. We're glad to have y'all with us. We got a little bit of business to do on behalf of the city of Columbus, but first we're going to begin, as we always do, by inviting God to be present in our proceedings. So I'm going to ask Reverend John Hamilton from St. Thomas. So if you come to this podium, and you'll need to push the light on the base of that microphone.
Base of the microphone, switch the light.
Try the other button. There you go. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Let us pray. O gracious God, as the sun rose this morning and cast its light through the leaves and pines of our trees, and its rays sparkled in the Chattahoochee, we are reminded that each day is a gift, and we are grateful. Thank you for this city. Thank you for this council. May we be protected this day, both from our worst impulses. May we be inclined to our best impulses. We're thankful for this time to remember the values of our spiritual traditions, that all people are loved by God, that our city is only as strong as its most vulnerable members, and that justice is a never-ending task for all of us. We ask your blessing on our civic leaders and indeed on all our citizens. Give them wisdom, courage, endurance. May they be protected from both the best and worst things people say about them. May their judgment be sound and balanced. And may they know that their city is grateful for the difficult task they have taken upon themselves. Bless the proceedings of this meeting. Bless all of our days. And when we lie down again tonight, when the sun has completed its course across the sky, may we go to bed with a clear conscience and trusting that you will bless us in the days to come. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend, and thank St. Thomas for everything that y'all do in the community. Y'all are so active in trying to help people and offer up programs through the church. We thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right. Our Pledge of Allegiance today is going to be led by Serenity Powell from Hanan Elementary. Is Serenity here? There she is. Welcome. We'll let you come up to the podium, and the rest of you, please get to your feet, and we'll follow Serenity's lead.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Outstanding. What grade are you in?
Fifth.
Fifth grade?
Yes, sir.
Well, good. You did a marvelous job. We appreciate it. What's your favorite subject?
Math.
Math?
Yes, sir.
Good. We're going to be needing help as these engineers start flooding into college. Make sure you stay home. Is your mom or dad here?
My sister.
Your sister? Let's have her stand up. I know she's proud of you. Welcome. Well, Serenity, I wish I could keep you out of school a little bit longer, but I just can't do it. So thank you so much for being with us this morning.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a great day. All right. Next is we have we need to get approval of the minutes from the 28th meeting. There's a first and there's a motion and a second to approve those minutes. Any edits, anything anyone would like to have pulled or discussed? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. We have a proclamation today in recognition of Rehab and Skilled Nursing Day. And Britt Hayes, President and CEO of the Hospital Authority, is going to be receiving this. Mr. Hayes, if you come forward, and I'll turn the mic over to Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. It's my privilege to publish this recognition for the city and for this facility. Whereas 18 Georgia long-term care centers have been awarded the 2026 Silver Achievement and Quality Award by the American Healthcare Association and the National Center for Assisted Living for demonstrating high-quality care and performance. Whereas the awards are a part of a rigorous three-level process that evaluates long-term care organizations' capabilities against nationally recognized standards for excellence. The Quality Award program recognizes providers across the nation that have demonstrated their dedication to improving the quality of care for residents and individuals with disabilities and long-term care. Whereas the awards will be presented to Georgia honorees during Delivering Solutions 24, the AHCA and NCAL Convention Expo, October 14th through the 26th, 2026 in Boston, Massachusetts. Whereas the staff work diligently every day to protect and care for residents. And whereas Ridgecrest is thankful for the resolute workers who in long-term care for their achievement in the 2026 National Quality Award and the heroic contributions they make every day to the well-being of the residents and families they serve. Now, therefore, our mayor, Skip Henderson of Columbus, Georgia, does hereby proclaim Tuesday, August 11, 2026 as Ridgecrest Rehab and Skilled Nursing Day.
We're so excited. We're pumped. I just keep coming here for awards, and this lady's always on my coattails. But anyway, just so thankful to be able to appear before you guys, mayor and city manager, and all your counselors. We are pushing quality. We've never done that in our organization over the years as much as we're doing it now. But I'm so proud to say that all three of our facilities now have the Silver Quality Award behind them. That's Muskogee Manor, that's Orchard View, and that's now Ridgecrest. It's not something that's been done in this city, in this area, going after those lofty goals and being recognized nationally. Just to put a little mark on it about how hard it is to do, there's only 4 nursing homes in the state of Georgia that have ever scored higher than us out of 359 in history. There's only 4. Of those 4, no town is larger than 3,000 people. They're 1,200 to 3,000 people, and they're far removed from metropolitan areas. So when you have a workforce that's that stagnant, you can move mountains sometimes because you keep reiterating points. And we're the second largest city in Georgia, so we have a transient workforce sometimes with agency people and with people coming and going military-wise. Hard to move those mountains and hard to push that with that kind of workforce. But boy, are we glad to do it. In the United States, there's 15,000 nursing homes. 58 have ever scored higher than our 3 in history. 58. So that puts us in the top 99 point. So we're just proud to be here and so proud to represent the citizens of Muskogee County and feel proud that you have somewhere to go in your later years, your formative years, where you're going to be cared for. And it's important for us to do the right thing every day. We're not perfect, but boy, we're swinging at it every day. So thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll let Jennifer Kelly, our administrator at Ridgecrest, talk a little bit about the process.
Thank you, Britt.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. It was a year-long process, and like achieving the 5-star quality award on CMS rating system and the Joint Commission accreditation, it was very challenging. We met the challenge. We are so much better for it. We continue to strive for excellence. It is a marathon, not a sprint. We're honored to be on this journey to provide the highest quality of care in life for our residents, our families, and our staff. I believe we are a family environment, And I think that is probably one of the greatest assets that we have is our relationships. It is made much easier to do when you have an amazing president like Britt Hayes and an awesome board of directors chaired by Chuck Heck, and of course, the support from you all. So thank you, and we are very excited. So we're just ready to continue going every day. Thank you.
We're very proud of the services y'all provide to the residents of Muskogee County. We appreciate what you do, and congratulations on being recognized for doing it so well. If you would come around, let's shake your hands. Thank you for your efforts. Outstanding work. All right, next we've got a couple of presentations today. First one will be presented by an update on the River Valley Regional Commission. Jim Livingston, the Executive Director, and Honorable Carvel Lewis, who is not only the chairman of RVRC, but he is also the county chair for Quitman County. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Mr. City Manager, members of council. Thanks for having us up here. I'm pleased to bring our chairman, River Valley Regional Commission Chairman Carvel Lewis, with us. He is, as Mayor said, is not only chair of the River Valley Regional Commission, chair of Georgetown Quitman County. He is also first vice president of the Board of Managers for ACCG. He's also on the State Technical College Board. He's a busy man, Chairman. I appreciate you coming and joining me today. I want to it's been a minute since I've spoken to you all in City Council. I want to talk to you all a little bit about what we do at the River Valley Regional Commission. We are an area of 16 counties, an area about the size of Delaware. Our northern boundary is Harris County. We run south to Lake Walter F. George, or if you're on the other side of the river, Lake Eufaula. That chairman says, don't mention Lake Eufaula. I'll sure not do that. But also we go east to I-75. It's a large area. There are 51 local governments in this area. Columbus is the largest by a long shot. What we do is we manage federal funds. Those federal funds largely take match. You all invest in the River Valley Regional Commission as a part of that match. We appreciate that investment. This is a report to tell you what we're doing with that. Lindsay, is it? Thank you. Pops, or you want to chat?
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. As you see in that wonderful picture there, me and Pops. Pops was a champion of River Valley, and we greatly appreciated his support and his steadfast work with us. As you see, our mission of the RVRC is to create, promote, and foster the orderly growth and economic prosperity for our region. Our vision is a region where current and future generations succeed at home, at work, and in their communities. We value accountability, collaboration, community, innovation, diversity, integrity, and good stewardship. You want to add anything? No. All right. Our services. And Jim, as the executive director, can elaborate, but we do planning and government services, area agency on aging, which POP truly supported. Anytime they had any activities for our senior population, he was there, always there. Workforce Development Board, and of course, Columbus has a Workforce Development Board, and then Middle Flint has a Workforce Area Board as well.
One of the key metrics we look at is what is the return on investment of your investment in the Regional Commission. Region-wide, we have an investment of $366,000 in local governments paying into the Regional Commission. We're returning $31 per dollar for that investment. Now, that includes a lot of the work we do with seniors. That includes the work we do with workforce development. That includes the investments we're able to help our local governments make in infrastructure, and that's part of our planning and government services. So we're proud of the investments that you all are making into the Regional Commission, and we're proud of the turn we're able to make on that. A lot of times, the Regional Commission is working at the behest of the local governments. We're behind the scenes. We don't get in front of the local governments because it is important for the recognition to go to those local governments. They're the ones setting the tone, the direction, and what we're doing is we're trying to match what their desires are and their community's desires are through that process. I'm going to talk a minute about planning and government services. It's what a lot of our local governments know us for. One of the things that we have been working on recently is transit and transit services. You're seeing a picture here of Patala Transit Bus. That was a small 3-county system that has recently expanded to 8 counties. Those buses come here to Columbus. Those buses are a part of the infrastructure to get people from the outlying region, for the outlying counties into Columbus for jobs, for healthcare, for education, and all the services that people need from elsewhere. Those folks are coming largely here. And certainly from the Patala Transit standpoint, they are coming here. We are very excited about the effort to have a regional transit hub with Metra. We're looking forward to getting the Patala Transit buses as a part of that. We've been working with our counterparts in Alabama, PEX, to get the Phoenix City buses to get to that that hub, and look forward to working on that. We also staff for the city the Board of Historic Architectural Review. We've got a staff member that writes all the reports for the BHAR. We wrote 49 of them last year. We have a couple of federal awards I want to make sure you all know about. They match federal awards that the city of Columbus has had. So when city has an award for instance, EPA brownfield assessments, that can be done here in Columbus. We've matched that. We've worked with EPA to get an award for the rest of the region of $1.5 million that was announced a couple of months ago. We also have a Safe Streets for All award. City of Columbus had one looking at Muskogee County. We have a Safe Streets for All award that will allow us to do the same work in the other 15 counties in the region. And finally, I'll just talk about some of the bike and pedestrian work that we've done. It's important for us to be able to continue to support bike and pedestrian efforts. Mayor, I appreciate your participation in the bike ride with the mayor on an annual basis. And we work with Safe Streets for All Advisory Council as a part of that. Chair, do you have anything else to add?
Not to that. Remember, I sit in your seats in my town, and I get a little antsy when we have long presentations, so I try to keep it as short as possible. But this is one of my bailiwicks that I'm extremely proud of, which is T-Splosh. And I cannot thank City of Columbus and Muskogee County for their partnership in this effort. With our renewal, you all came out in a high number, and I was sitting waiting on bated breath, not knowing if your citizens were going to support a renewal of T-Splosh, but you all did. I encouraged all of the other 15 counties to come to Columbus. A lot of us are closer to Dothan or to Albany. I said, no, you go to Sam's Club in Columbus, you go to Target in Columbus, you go to Fresh Market in Columbus, you go to Publix in Columbus, because if we support economic efforts in Muskogee County, it helps us locally with T-Splosh, because those dollars go far. But I chaired the TIA Roundtable. I wanted to ensure that all 16 counties had projects, and those municipalities at least one project per county. And of course, we wanted to make sure that Columbus, Muskogee County got their fair share of projects as well. And you all have greatly benefited, and it has benefited us who have to travel here. I'm not too pleased with that traffic pattern at Bradley Park Drive, but I'm gonna get used to it, driving on the opposite side of the road. But thank you again for your efforts and support.
One other planning project I want you all to be aware of is a partnership we have with Fort Benning, Department of Defense, University of Georgia, and Visit Columbus. This is a regional branding effort that stemmed out of some planning work we did a number of years ago around Fort Benning, trying to make sure that we have strong regional cooperation and support in those counties that are outside the fence line of Fort Benning. The regional branding effort is being managed by University of Georgia. We are a participant in it. Visit Columbus will be an active support to make sure that we can use that project well. That is an ongoing planning effort right now. So a big part of our work and what we do is through the Area Agency on Aging. This is the Meals on Wheels program. We have partners, important partners, that do a lot of the work. I want to recognize Direct Services and the work that they do to help support senior centers and those Meals on Wheels. They do the hard lifting of preparing the meals and delivering the meals. In Columbus this past year, we were able to support 400 seniors with services that equal $800,000 worth of value. So go back just in the seniors, just with the help we are able to provide for seniors, we are able to use your matching dollars to make sure that that program is viable and sustainable. And so we thank you for that. There are a lot of important components of our Area Agency on Aging. List of the different things that are up there right now. But one of the things I'm going to flag not only is the support that you all help us provide through Direct Services for these seniors for the Meals on Wheels program, but also the wellness programs and making sure our best chance to keep seniors out of a hospital is to make sure that they don't fall. We have a number of programs to help support that and appreciate the city in their support to make sure we are able to share that information. The intersection for this is our Aging and Disability Resource Connection. This is available for anybody to be able to access and contact. We have a database of over 3,000 resources. Some of them will cost money, but some of them are free or depending upon the program that they're looking at. But this is the heart of our Area Agency on Aging program. This is something I'm very proud of. If somebody calls me asking for information about seniors, I'm sending them to this number. I would call this number myself to ask for my own mother about what resources are available because they have great information, they have great access. You have a QR code there and an 800 number there for access to that. Last thing I'm going to mention is the importance of partnerships. This is true for the Area Agency on Aging. This is true for everything that we do. Partnerships are key for making sure that we are able to be effective regional partners through this work. So those partnerships, not only through Area Agency on Aging, but in all that we do, really does matter. The third program that is a core part of what we do is workforce development. We are the Middle Flint workforce development area. We're working out of Americus for that, so we cover the eastern counties in our region. Lower Chattahoochee Workforce Development Board, housed here at Columbus, covers the western counties in our region. So all 8 counties in the western part of the region are covered out of Lower Chat, but we work through Middle Flint. We have measurements that are required for us from the state, and we hit all those measurements on an annual basis. I'm proud of the work that they do. We'll close with this and give you all a chance to ask any questions. Regional cooperation takes work. It takes discussion. It takes dialogue. We appreciate, Mayor, you coming and being a part of our regional council. Councilor Tucker, you coming and being a part of not only our regional council, but our executive committee. And Xavier McCaskey is the third member from Muskogee County that is on our regional council.
Do want to again echo what Jim has said. Thank you all for your cooperation. And I'm sorry that I don't see Bruce up there. I was going to tease him. We're in the same business. I was handling a call as I walked into council chambers, and I was going to ask him to go make a pickup for me. But I do want to just reiterate two things. I want to thank you all for your support of Columbus Technical College. I represent the 2nd Congressional District on the State Technical College System Board, and our congressional district has 5 technical colleges. So I have to give President Todd as much attention as I give the other 4 presidents. And I do want to salute Councilwoman Tucker on being the 3rd Vice President for ACCG. I don't know if you all have looked at all of the officers for the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia, but all of us are from Southwest Georgia. The 2nd Vice President is from Harris County. I'm the 1st Vice President, and our President this year is from Moultrie. So we're very pleased that Southwest Georgia is represented in the leadership of ACCG. Thank you all for your time. Any questions?
Yes, we do have a few. Councilor Tucker?
Thank you for the presentation. I just have to say happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
To my dear friend, Commissioner Carvel Lewis. I appreciate you. This was really great information, especially when you talk about senior services, and I don't think a lot of people realize some of the services that RVRC actually does, and I promote when you have, because we're at a generation where we're taking care of our loved ones. A lot of people have Alzheimer's, dementia, and that's one of the things they can call and have assistance and get a break. You know, have somebody come in and for a couple of hours to help you with your loved one. And I know for a fact that a lot of people don't know that. And not only when you say the nutrition, we do the Senior Hunger Coalition, which I've served on because Councilor Barnes made sure I did everything with seniors because I was taking care of my grandma before she passed away. So we have done many grants for individuals within our 16 county region and Columbus. The impact that we've done with those many grants, I feel like it exceeds far more than we even mentioned in this presentation, because you're able to partner with some of those people like the food banking and use, you know, thousands of dollars to turn into tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, over the last year. So thank you. I appreciate, one, that the council actually sent my name up to serve on the board. It is a lot of work. This is what you see in the front, but we have to take care of personnel issues. We do evaluations, and I've actually learned a lot and I've shared a lot with my colleagues in regards to the things that we do in RVRC. So just thank you both. I appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilor Cook?
Good morning, and thank you for your presentation. It's so many things that you guys help to foster in our community, and we have a growing population of seniors everywhere in the world, but especially here in Columbus. And I just had a couple of quick questions for those that may be watching. The Senior Farmers Market, can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. This is funding through U.S. Department of Agriculture. It does two things to me, Dr. Cook. One is it supports the seniors because we're able to get fresh fruits and vegetables to them. It also supports our regional farmers. That's also important to make sure that there's a market that they have to access to make sure that they can get their produce distributed in the region. We hold those obviously during the summer and growing season. They're ongoing right now. I don't know the number of markets we've done so far, but I know it's in the 30 or 40 thus far, and another 20 or so throughout the region. We usually partner with senior centers or other places where seniors would aggregate. And Dr. Cook, I'll be sure to get you what is remaining in Columbus. But that's access that anybody 60, I have to double check, 60 or 65 and older have access to be able to participate in that program.
I appreciate that. I know that
Chairman says 60.
He says 60. Thank you, sir. I know that we have some parts of our community that have food deserts. And so anytime I hear about, us supporting food insecurities, that's kind of one of my passions. But thank you so much for the education, and I look forward to the information that you send for me today. Thank you.
Well, Chairman Lewis, thank you all for making, Chairman, thank you for making the trip to Columbus today to brief us. These two gentlemen do an incredible job. You know, where it really manifests itself is in reminding us that we're all a region, right? So, I mean, if one area of our region doesn't do well, it pulls down all of the other areas. So RVRC has been instrumental in providing the resources for us to be able to see some of those counties have an opportunity to advance themselves. So again, heartfelt thank you to both of you for what you do.
Mayor, thanks for the opportunity to chat.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, we have a operational internal audit report on the engineering department. So I'm going to call Ms. McGinnis and her team up.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to turn over the podium here in a couple minutes to Ben and Grant. One of the things that we've been doing over the last several weeks in internal audit has been focusing on team development, cross-training. Perhaps there's some wisdom in that, you know, that we want everyone to have the same skill set. At this point, I'm going to turn over the report to both of them in that they've worked real hard in wrapping things up and closing out with Director Beck, and I'm delighted to see him here today as well. Anyway, here you go, guys.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Benjamin Meadow, forensic auditor. The audit was authorized by City Council on the 13th of January, 2026. And with that, we've had the development of the audit program, which basically was consisting of a review of departmental operations, administrative processes, fleet assets, facility operations, staffing considerations, purchasing practices, and selected financial controls. And we also focused on the day-to-day operational activities and observations. With that, we had the entrance conference with the auditee, and we did some field work. Then with that, we prepared the draft audit. We held an exit conference with Director Vance Beck and Assistant Director John Ussery. We awaited the response and prepared the final audit report. And the scope, we just observed the organizational structure of the engineering department. And as said earlier, we did field work and observed their day-to-day operations. With that, we had inventory and assessment of vehicles, capital, equipment, and facilities, and after some payroll testing to do employee verification and just the overall payroll process. And with that, we also had administrative and financial operations on audit of that, such as the budget reviews for prior fiscal years. I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Grant.
Good morning, Council. My name's Grant Conaway. I'm an auditor, part of this presentation. I'm going to be going over some of the activity we did. So they recently moved to a new facility. So we lived with them at their old facility, and we got to see them there. But we got to visit their new facility. Everybody was seemingly enjoying the new facility. We did some payroll testing as well, and we found nothing of note in the payroll testing. We did a vehicle inspection. We went through all of the vehicles in the fleet, made sure that the unit or the numbers assigned to them were appropriate and matched what was in the inventory list, make and model and such. We inspected the vehicles, make sure they had all of the proper equipment that the city vehicle should be, that they should have in their vehicle, and that was a pass as well. We did some interviews with multiple team members, varying from, you know, your typical just day-to-day engineer going to the field all the way up to administration. We did some timesheet testing. We found nothing of note in there. We went and visited the traffic engineers and got to see their facility and see what they get to do day to day. We got to work with the support clerk as well as just all the other engineers that are employed by the engineering department. Some of the findings that we came across, like I stated, the new office is well suited for the department. Everybody seemingly had a positive reception to the new location. One thing of note is that in the employee parking lot, there is currently not much security for them. There is a gate, but you can just walk through it, so citizens can just be there if they choose to be there. And there's also elevators that don't have any security on them, so citizens can access any floor. So potentially protecting city vehicles could be up there. The vehicles were all maintained and they had all the proper equipment. We found that some increased communication between all the departments could help increase efficiency and productivity. And the support specialist role is just facing some staffing challenges, so we felt that that could be addressed. And I'll pass it over to my colleague to go over the recommendations that we found.
Okay, with the recommendations, it was a relatively short list of recommendations with given the findings that we had. Just one, continue evaluating the Administrative Support Specialist 2 position, just to make sure we fill that and align with the operational needs and support efficient administrative services. The second suggestion is just to maintain the staffing levels in traffic operations through ongoing workforce planning, recruitment, and employee retention efforts, which we'll address in the oddities responses later on, as with all these recommendations. But the third one is to maintain an efficient purchasing process that ensures timely procurement of PPE equipment and operational supplies while preserving fiscal accountability. Basically, with this recommendation, we noticed that there were several division leaders that could probably benefit from having a purchasing card, so i.e. multiple purchasing cards throughout the department just to streamline the procurement process. With number 4, support efforts to enhance facility security through continued evaluation of access controls, visitor management, and employee safety measures. Basically, my colleague touched on this earlier about the building security and the elevator. And with the 5th suggestion, or with the 5th recommendation we have, just to continue investing in workforce planning, professional development, and cross-training to strengthen operational continuity and long-term effectiveness. And with the oddity response, I'd like to welcome Vance Beck to the podium just to give his responses. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben and Grant. Good morning, Mayor, Council, Mr. City Manager, City Attorney. We have had turnover in our administrative support specialists. We did some bank of interviews Friday. We have gone digital now. That position is kind of the tip of the spear for us. You get a lot of public complaints at the desk, on the phone. A lot of permits come in, so I think that with us moving digital, we'll take some of the brunt off of that employee, and hopefully we can get a long-term person in there. We did reclassify traffic operations with y'all's help during budget, and we're staffed except for a higher level signal technician that will require a couple of years of service and some additional training. We do prefer one purchasing card in my department, but we do not hold up procurement. Sometimes the shop will just want to take the card and run get some stuff that we can actually purchase on contract and go through the normal procurement process. And as far as the security goes, that's really, I don't feel like it's more of a citywide, city hall type issue and not just me. Those elevators are accessible by the public. You can walk around the gate, so that's something that probably does need to be addressed for all departments in that building. And I agree that all of us can continue to improve. That's why I don't have a response to number 5. But thank you.
Thank you, Vance. Counselor Tucker?
Yes, I appreciate you all conducting this audit. I do have a question. When we're doing these audits, is there some type of standardization? Like, I'm gonna say, when I was in the Air Force, I did audits for physical security, personnel security, system security, and it was the same no matter where I went, whether I was in Alaska theater, Hawaii, Germany, wherever. Is there something that we have where we can look at what is an audit, what an audit looks like for an engineering department, what an audit looks like for public safety, what an audit looks like for public works, what an audit looks like for HR, where it's checklists, where no matter if you're here in Columbus, Georgia, or Metro Atlanta, or anywhere, is it something where it's standardized, where we know that we're checking off and making sure that we're seeing, you know, everything that should be seen?
I'd like to speak to this for just a second. Every audit that has been authorized, going back to Roger Segrist, okay, in this organization, starts with an IIA standard of what the audit should include. We're talking about some real basic stuff. We're talking about payroll. We're talking about asset confirmations. We're talking about organizational charts. We're talking about field interviewing. We all start from the same place, regardless of the function that's being looked at. What tends to vary, clearly, some of our directors are a little more engaged. You know, they are using the audit as an opportunity. They have additional questions. And we provide that latitude, you know, beyond the structure that IIA provides. So, I mean, we all start from the same place. And I've seen folks get super engaged. I've seen folks not get real engaged. Or if you seek to use the audit opportunity, perhaps to rally support for something, a project you'd like to pursue, we'll be happy to go there with you. So you're going to see a little bit of variation, but we all start from the same place.
Okay. Counselor Davis?
Thank you, Mayor. Director Beck, let me ask you something. You mentioned that we've now gone digital. Does that include, can developers, civil engineers and all, can they electronically send you plans and blueprints and all those things to be evaluated, and you in turn send them back to them?
Yes, sir.
And that's...
We've still got, you know, people are still going to walk up to the counter to get minor land disturbance and that type thing if they're doing work at their house. But most of our major plans have been coming in lately have all been digital.
That's fully operational now.
Fully operational.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Chambers?
Yes, thank you. So during that audit activity and observations, I know you tour the facility, do a spot check on payroll and vehicle inspections. Tell me about the interviews. What does that consist of?
So the interviews, I'm sorry, I don't have that organizational chart, so I can't remember exactly who all we interviewed, but we just would sit down with a role and we would ask them questions about their role, their day-to-day activities, problems that they occur at their workplace, if any recommendations that they feel could improve efficiency in their perspective of the department. And then we kind of just take all of those responses and try to see if there's any similarities. We compare, contrast, and then kind of just inject that into the rest of the report, kind of those vibes that we feel off of the interviewees.
So I guess my question is, so audit recommendations based on interviews, what type of information did you receive once you interviewed the team members? Were there any recommendations?
I mean, there were recommendations such as like purchasing procurement. That was where, some of that kind of recommendation can stem from. Let me pull up the recommendations. I mean, most of our recommendations do come from the interviews because they live in the department. So I can come up with, or we can come up with recommendations that we feel can support them, but most of the time they're based in their interviews. Like a lot of the recommendations do derive from the interview because these people just are looking for assistance. So for this safety and security, some people have noticed, a random citizen, in the parking lot. So that's a stem of where security could be improved. That's where that recommendation can come from. And as well as like the purchasing, procurement, and yes, sir, does that answer your question?
So based on your interviews, these 5, I think it's 5 recommendations, so it came from the interviews?
They're derived from them, yes, sir. And then also what we see, our findings and observations, just what we feel like, given our knowledge, what we feel like could improve the department.
So how long did it take to complete this audit?
It started in January 13th is when it was approved, and our field work began March 19th.
So about how many interviews did you conduct?
We did them in 2-person teams. At the time, our team was 4. So I interviewed, I want to say 6 individuals. I think we had about a dozen interviewees in the department.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. City Manager?
I mean, I like that, there were the positives and the stuff that was recommended. I feel like we're already working on most of them. As far as the purchasing, there's always going to be that balance. Someone who is going to say, I want my own car so I can just purchase it. The person in charge of the budget is going to say, actually, I want more control over that. So there's always going to be that balance. And so I appreciate, trying to make sure we stay on budget and make sure there's just not a bunch of purchasing cards floating around and that we can follow the contracts where we have it. So I thought that was good. The one question I did have, and maybe because I'm new, I have heard that the timeline to get a permit has delayed. Is that due to the online processing?
It's delayed.
Sorry, the delays have been reduced. You can get a permit faster now.
Right.
Is that because of the online processing?
Yes, everybody gets it into their, it's sent to everybody. So instead of people having to come to our office and get their set of plans, they're getting them digitally up front.
Yeah, that's great.
We are meeting all of our mandated deadlines for permits.
Thank you.
Counselor Tucker?
Yes, I just want to add this. And I serve on the audit committee and also over the chair of the auditors committee. And there's a lot of stuff that I may know personally, but we have a lot of new counselors that probably don't know what the standard is, what you're using, the template, what questions. So I would say going forward, when we have audits, show what the standard is, what the requirement is, and you're saying that you're building out, depending on the activities, you want to show what is required, just like when we do the finance audit every year. And they have, I don't know if it's like 18 or 21 criteria within that audit in reference to the budget, our city budget, what they look at, did you do your meetings, all this, did you do your schedule? It's all in that budget to give us that distinguished county, right, government. So when we're showing that we're conducting an audit and you're saying that it's coming from this code, my colleague right here doesn't know that, right? So we want to educate not only her or Dr. Cook, who's new, and we're going to have other new counselors, but we also want to educate the citizens who are watching because they don't know what code you're looking at or what questions and all this other stuff. So when we're building out these audits And I'm saying all this because this is my area of responsibility up here as the chairwoman. I want to make sure that we're educating our community, but our elected body, what this function is. And this is a tool, it's a resource to help move our city forward. It's not a punishment, it's a tool. Anytime we're doing stuff like this, it's for us to have process improvements. So we just need to show what the standard is, and that's why I keep saying standardization. So it'll help my colleague sitting next to me, because she just needs to know what it is that should be within this audit. So that's all it was. It wasn't to be antagonistic, but it was just to show exactly what the purpose is and what the standard we're using and what is actually required, and then we're building out from there.
Councilor Cook?
Good morning, gentlemen. I had a question under audit recommendations. As Councilor Tucker just mentioned, I'm one of the new kids on the block, and so we've already kind of been through budget, and this may be a question that's outside of your scope, but where we're talking about workforce planning, recruitment, and employee retention efforts, how do we fare in terms of what we're paying our people in your department compared to our neighbors around us? And would it be helpful to consider increasing the pay to get that position that's available, that's still open for the more advanced training? What do you think that you would need to accomplish some of these goals with recruitment and retention for your department?
Well, Evergreen did a extensive pay study a year or two ago, and they looked, region-wide and that type thing to adjust all of the pays. So as far as I know, we're on par with that. So I really can't answer that. It was a pretty extensive pay and reclassification and study and all that was done. So I think we are on par with our neighbors.
I'm curious if it's not something that would be in your field, if someone in your organization can send that over to me. I know as a business owner, one of the greatest challenges I had my first 2 years in practice was I would lose my best people to Fort Benning. And I couldn't figure out why in the world it's such a great place. I'm such a great person to work for, and it came down to dollars and cents. And so I'd like to take a look at that study that was done a year or two ago to see if there's anything that we can do as a city council to help leverage what we have so that you can achieve holding on to great people in our great city of Columbus. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. City Manager?
That's gonna be a bit, that's a tough question for them to answer, because it's, Evergreen's doing the pay study and council's approving the budget, so that's usually more of a directed toward the council.
Okay, and I realize it's probably outside of their scope, but that's just my question. So whoever has the information, I'd love to see it. Thank you, City Manager.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, I think that's it. Thank y'all. All right. All right, next we'll move to the city attorney's agenda. Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. No, we were going to pull up, we're just going to bring up Malden and Jenkins and let them, I had forgotten completely about that. So we'll invite them up. They've got travel plans to make to get back home later. We appreciate them being here this morning.
So for everyone, this is from the updates and presentations portion. This is from updates and presentations on the city manager's agenda, operational and performance assessment presentation by David Roberts from Malden and Jenkins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Manager, and members of council. My name is David Roberts, and with me is Haley Kasnick. We're with Malden and Jenkins. I served as the engagement partner and had the pleasure of leading the operational and performance assessment that we're here to discuss with you. So just to remind everybody, City Council previously approved and engaged Malden and Jenkins to do an operational and performance assessment. We've broken things down into different phases. The first phase is what we're here to present with you today, and that relates to operating departments that are reporting to city manager. Let's see. Sorry, bear with me one second. Is this a clicker that I should use? Yes. Great, thank you. Phase 2, we're currently underway, and that relates to public safety departments. And we're in the planning session, planning stages for phase 3, which includes all other city departments as well. I'm not going to read through them, but you can see the 13 in-scope departments that were present for phase 1. And again, that's what we are here to discuss today. And those are all departments that report to the city manager's office. First, I really want to commend leadership for engaging this assessment. This is something that really is a leading practice, and I think it's extremely commendable for you as elected officials to open up and bring in an objective party to come in and say, okay, where are we doing well? Where are there some opportunities for enhancements, and really help ensure that your vision, your strategy comes to fruition. I want to recognize the more than 180 employees that we met with just in phase 1. So we met with a vast number of people across the 13 departments, not only conducting interviews, but doing what we refer to as job shadowing, where we actually sit with employees, observe roles and responsibilities, kind of follow the workflow, and certainly did tours of different facilities. I'm going to highlight a couple of notable commendations, and then I'll turn it to Haley to talk about some of our enterprise-wide findings. I think there's a lot, as we discussed in our report, it's very voluminous of the 13 departments, but there's a lot to be proud of, and wanted to highlight just a couple of those areas. So a number of changes had already been already implemented before we started our work. So just to name a few, in fiscal year 2017, the city moved core management of the city's GIS function to reside within the IT department. So that was centralization of the GIS function, certainly a leading strategy, but yet has a hybrid model where GIS is supported throughout other departments. Similar situation in fiscal year 25, moving radio system management to be housed within IT. In fiscal year 26, you created a standalone facilities maintenance department. It was certainly large enough and has meaningful scope that it became its own department, which is common in a number of organizations your size. It was previously housed within the Public Works Department. And then, we just heard from engineering. There's a physical office space move, which included engineering, planning, and inspection to the annex building. And basically creating a one-stop shop for citizens. And that is certainly a leading practices when you're looking for business licensing and permitting. Citizens and business owners are able to go to one place and get all their needs met. I believe it was previously mentioned, a pay study. So in 2022, the city engaged Evergreen to do a comprehensive pay study, showing you're committed to certainly your employees and ensuring that you're on par to your greatest asset, which is your employees. Just to highlight a couple of awards, Public Works Department has received the American Public Works Association accreditation since 2018 and is seeking reaccreditation this year. The Finance Department has consistently received multiple awards related to budget presentation and financial reporting. You invested in a renewable gas facility at one of your landfills, which is actually a revenue generating source, taking byproduct of the landfill and turning it into natural gas. You're in the process of continuing to implement online capabilities with permitting and engineering and things of that nature, again, streamlining services, making it easier for citizens. And lastly, the Parks and Recreation Department has received significant recognition from state and national professional associations. So we have what we refer to as a maturity model, and we evaluated all the departments within phase 1 against that model. This does not represent performance, but represents organizational maturity, structure, and governance. If you look at the left-hand side, you have level 1, which on one extreme is non-compliant with basic governance. On the right-hand side, you have level 5, which is a strategic partner. It means really being proactive, supporting each other's departments, anticipating needs, and really being that true business advisor. Right now, when we aggregate all the 13 departments from phase 1, it yielded an overall average of 2.5. So that's in between compliant and formally governed. When I look at where you are today, a lot of the rationale for bringing some of the scores toward the left is just a lack of consistent policies and procedures within each department. And we'll talk about that in a second. And I know that there's currently initiative underway with new city manager to really focus on that and implement standardized, comprehensive policies and procedures. Once those are implemented, you easily move up to a 3.0 and then can really focus on that consistent efficiency, effectiveness, and strategic delivery of service. This slide, I won't spend a lot of time on it, but just shows individual scores by the 13 different departments. And again, all this and a lot more is contained in our detailed report. For the next couple slides, just want to talk about enterprise themes. So these are themes that were common or pervasive among the 13 departments that we saw. And with that, I'll pass to Haley.
Thank you all for your time this morning. I'm going to walk us through the second half of our presentation, which is centered around enterprise-wide or common themes and recommendations that we had that appeared within multiple department-specific reports. So first, we found that city departments lacked a consistent formalized performance management system. And we saw this specifically with departments lacking strategic documentation or strategic plans that outline short-term and long-term goals and objectives focused on continuous improvement. Also, departments lacked formal key performance indicators or performance metrics that tie to their strategic goals and objectives and help them track and measure progress toward their goals and objectives and just measure overall performance. Also, we found that departments lacked formal documented and current SOPs. Departments had varying levels of documentation. Some departments had no documentation in place. Other departments had some documentation within part of the organization, but not others. And then departments that did have documentation had outdated documentation. And so therefore, there are some concerns that their documentation is most likely not reflecting current practices and procedures within those departments. Also, we found that multiple manual and paper-based processes are still in use throughout city departments. And a good example of this is within the payroll process. So some departments have time clocks that are tracking hours, clocking in and clocking out. However, those time clocks are not integrated with the city's payroll system. And so as a result, staff members are having to manually key in those hours worked into the payroll system. And then also departments that do not have time clocks are using paper timesheets. And so as a result, staff members are having to manually key in those hours worked from timesheets into the payroll system, representing an additional manual process. Also, during our walkthroughs of facilities, during our field work, based on our conversations with employees as well, we observed that facilities citywide are deteriorating, and multiple departments such as Parks and Recreation are operating out of facilities that are 20 years old or even older than that in some cases. And so as a result, these facilities are experiencing, constant facilities maintenance issues, and so this is requiring additional demand from your facilities maintenance department and is placing a higher burden on facilities maintenance to keep up with the demand and workload and respond to all of those requests. And then also we found that heavy equipment is outdated within certain departments, and this particularly relates to public works and recreation. These departments are using equipment that is either at or is beyond its useful life. And so as a result, equipment requires frequent repairs and costly repairs, and it results in disruptions to those departments' service delivery. And then also we found that the city lacks a formal grants management software. And so as a result, departments that are either managing or administering grants, such as community reinvestment and finance, are having to use Excel spreadsheets to manage grants. And therefore, grant data is not contained in one centralized application or system. Also, we found that performance appraisals were discontinued during COVID due to the suspension of in-person meetings. I want to point out that this has since been addressed as HR has reinstated this requirement, but for a few years, the HR department was not tracking compliance or was not enforcing departments to complete those annual employee evaluations. And so as a result, departments were inconsistently participating in that process. Also, the city implemented a policy requiring 4-year college degrees to move up into managerial and supervisory level roles. And so as a result, I think this negatively impacts your departments that rely on trades expertise, specifically within facilities maintenance and public works, as frontline staff might be hired without having a degree, but as they acquire tenure and they acquire the knowledge and qualifications to move up within their departments, they are not able to do so due to this requirement. Also, we found lack of consistent opportunities for growth and advancement within the city. And I think a good example of this is that departments did not have formal or documented training programs or training pathways for employees to obtain certifications, licensures, or just additional professional education that are beyond their minimum job requirements. And so therefore, those departments also lack incentives for employees to want to gain those additional skills and certifications. Also, we found that job descriptions were outdated and inaccurate, and we found that oftentimes job responsibilities moved with individuals in positions rather than moving with job titles and job descriptions. And so therefore, the city is at risk there with potentially losing that knowledge and losing those functions or not being able to capture those functions once long tenured employees in those positions depart with the city. So now that I've discussed kind of our high priority areas for what city leadership should address moving forward, want to present some areas of focus for city leadership. So first, I think that city leadership should drive consistency and standardization within departments and across the organization. And I think that city leadership should enforce standardization, formalization, and consistency within documentation and should set a standard for what documentation looks like within departments and should require departments to conform to that standard and have that up-to-date documentation. Also, I think that city leadership should set a standard for what performance management looks like across city departments and require departments to participate in some kind of formal strategic planning process to outline their short and long-term goals and objectives, and then create, implement, and track key performance indicators or performance measures that align with their goals and objectives so that they can measure their progress against goals and objectives and to enforce that accountability. Also, I think that city leadership should plan and invest in resources to equip city employees to do their job successfully and to provide that optimal customer service. So I think that city leadership should invest in facilities and update their facilities condition assessment and participate in a formal strategic capital planning process to plan for facility upgrades and replacements, and also heavy equipment as well. And then also city leadership should invest in technology needs that are outlined within our department-specific reports, whether that is implementing or procuring a new technology or system that automates a previously manual process, or if it's integrating existing systems or enhancing workflows or streamlining processes within existing systems. And then last but not least, I think that city leadership should continue to invest in its greatest asset, which is its employees, by investing in performance management, training programs, and career paths to ultimately boost employee morale and also improve retention and help employees see their future careers with the city long-term.
Thank you. So just to close out our presentation in terms of suggested next steps. And first, I do want to say that I've seen a lot of progress already since we wrote our Phase 1 report in terms of implementation of some of our recommendations. And I know that the new city manager has also been very aggressive in terms of creating work plans and strategies to implement items as well. So I think in terms of suggested next steps, clearly focus on implementing the recommendations, capitalize on the momentum. I do think that we're in the throes of Phase 2 now. Phase 3 is down the road, and there is a fair amount of momentum. Employees seemed, from our perspective, very engaged. We got open and honest feedback, and I think they're hopeful that their contributions in this report will result in some positive change and continuous improvement. Certainly, leverage outside consultants, internal resources as needed to make sure that you have employee champions that can really focus on transformation and implementing the recommendations. Certainly, if programmatic work plans are needed, and really treat this as a project to ensure that you've got implementation as well as that you can monitor progress. And I think certainly, each of you here at the dais, has a very important role and can help assist with accountability and contributing to the change management. And these are 5 objectives at the bottom that were stated as important to the city. I feel that our recommendations certainly align to all these, and again, really appreciate your effort, which is a leading practice, to engage in this process. So thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate all the work that went into this. Councilor Cook?
You guys did a phenomenal job, and I know that there's a lot of good things happening and change that's occurring. You're speaking my language when you say SOPs and KPIs, and I know that if you haven't been engulfed in a system that already has that in place, it takes time to develop that. And the benefit that you have is the people that sit around the table that have institutional knowledge. You just got to get it out of their heads onto paper. And so I'm excited about the direction that things are going with our city. And this is an outstanding blueprint. And I'm excited that the city manager seems excited about getting the work done. But this is very, very, very comprehensive. And I just want to say I have a deep appreciation for this kind of work. And anything I can do to help, just let me know. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Davis?
Thank you, Mayor, and just a couple observations with the presentation. Thank you again. I've already had the privilege to hear a little bit of this, and we've already asked questions prior, but I want our citizens to know that this is still a continuing work in progress. There's a Phase 2 and probably some other aspects of it as well. There's some other departments that need to be evaluated, but I really want to thank the committee, and not necessarily Toya and myself, but or Councilor Tucker and myself, but what I would call the professionals on the committee, and we have some real brain power on that committee, and this exercise was highly recommended by them and encouraged by them, and our city invested in this to do this. The only study that I remember ever, and I don't even think it was at the level of what we're talking about here, but it goes probably back, I'm pretty sure it goes back to Mayor Peters, his administration. It was one done by CSU, and when I came on the council, I heard it just got put in a box and put on a shelf, and nobody really got to see it. But this is the first, not only did your company put together, or your firm put together the risk assessment, which was a different document, and different things were covered, but this performance assessment, which is much more detailed, this is by far one of the best investments, I think, or the top investments that our city has done. And not only in what it means to, some of the comments that you made to the committee about the value that it meant to the employees and what you were hearing from them, that was amazing. I mean, that really resonated with me, and how much they appreciated it and wanted it, and they wanted to participate and be a part of that. But we have a phase one. The phase one is here. You're still working on a phase two. And what I would like to do today, Mayor, is I know you've already sent a letter encouraging the elected officials to also participate. That's part of this. I think they should. That's our whole government as a whole. There's no reason that they shouldn't. You know, I think all of the departments and the people, the groups that have, departments that have already participated, I think they believe it's a well worth valued exercise. And there are some elected officials that have participated, but this was, I think the council, the mayor, the executive administration controls, or they have governance over the general government and public safety. Public safety is next, but not the elected officials. They would have to do, I just want to say this, they would have to do it on a volunteer basis. I think they all should do it. And I'm encouraging them to do it. The mayor's already encouraged them to do it. And hopefully they'll jump on board. There's nothing to fear, no threats or anything. This is a document that gives us a roadmap into the future for our future generations, that we get things right and we keep providing the services and we keep moving forward in an effort to excel. That's what it's about, is excellence. And certainly your work has given us the opportunity to do that and to achieve that. And we've got some good people in place now. The city manager's got a lot of work to do. Just got here, but I'm confident that he can take this and run with it and do the things necessary. This document, I'm sure he would agree that the document is valuable, gives valuable information for any management group coming in to be able to get ahead and not only move at a more expedited pace in order to get these things accomplished. So thank you, and thank you for being here today and presenting. And I don't know if I missed anything, just please fill in the gaps.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Tucker?
Yes, as Councilor Davis said, we had our audit committee meeting on Friday for about 2 hours at 2 p.m. And I appreciate you all coming, you from Decatur. And I mentioned at that time, and I'm just going to share, that ACCG brings value. The reason why we have this right here is because of my involvement with ACCG, and also my close connections with Chairwoman Lorraine Cochran, who you all had just, I think about 2 years ago when she started. The first thing when she got elected was to get those partners to come together and do that assessment. And I watched Lorraine, and I've been watching Lorraine since I got elected. And Lorraine has been really like my superhero mentor. But we was at a pivotal point, and she was at a pivotal point after taking leadership for somebody being in that seat for years. They don't have terms like we do as mayor, as the chairwoman. So she wanted to do this assessment. And me watching, and I want to say this to everybody, that high-level document, it's a 384-page document that comes with this that outlines the operational performance of all those departments that was mentioned. So this was just a high level. It's 384 pages of reading, but we were at a pivotal point with new leadership, and we needed to have this document to help. If it wasn't Mr. City Manager Tyson Begley, whoever would be in that seat, this was the purpose of this right here. So I want to thank people like Chairwoman Lorraine Cochran up in DeKalb County, but also my audit committee, which I chaired, that saw benefit of doing this. And at the time, Mr. City Manager was part of that audit committee for the second time. But I appreciate you all for listening and allowing us to do this and sending that recommendation over for the council to approve. And I thank the council body for approving this because it does bring value. And I think that it is gonna move us further and forward because we got a plan for the future and not for now. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing phase 2 and my clerk of council and some of those other in our internal auditor I guess in phase 2 or 3. But we have public safety, and I'm saying that because as elected officials, we were in phase 3. And the clerk of council and the internal auditor and even our board of election falls under the elected body. So they would be in phase 3. So that's the reason why I make that mention, because we have phases. We have general government phase, we have public safety phase, and we also have the elected body phase, which I think the sheriff is part of that too, right?
Sheriff is actually part of phase 2, public safety.
Public safety,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. And the only reason why I said that because the third with the elected body, so I didn't know how that went. But it's a 384 page document, so please take a look at it. They did an excellent job. Thank you for all your work, and thank you for spending your Friday with us on last week.
All right, Mr. City Manager?
I don't want to interrupt the city council comments. We did have some response comments from the city regarding the analysis, and so we're going to bring those up, and welcome to get some additional comments afterwards. Let's see. I think Jeremy's going to try to pull that up at the back, or while we're pulling that up. Just want to echo council's comments. I appreciate that council moved forward with this. It's incredibly valuable, especially as a new city manager. It's nice to be able to come in and, they comment we don't have long-term plans, but this really provides guidance as we build our long-term plans. And so this is incredibly valuable and very appreciative of council moving forward with this. I'll quickly go through this. I'm not going to read every slide. Just to recap, this was phase 1 focused on the city manager. Phase 2, we focus on public safety. And this covered the 13 departments within the city manager's office. I'm going to walk through the 20 recommendations from the executive summary and bucketed those really into stuff that we're working on, stuff that we really need to assess it before we can, comment on it further. Some things that are going to need city council's support as we discuss the budget, and there's one that we'll revisit in the future. So several of these are in progress. Obviously, the compensation study, we've been working with Evergreen, so you're familiar with that portion. The facilities condition assessment, we are looking how we can use software to make that more effective. Obviously, there's lots of technology implementations. The SOPs, that's been incredibly valuable. So it's, from a management perspective, you can say, hey, we need more SOPs, and people will say, well, what SOPs do you need? So this, from that 384-page document, we've translated that into an Excel tracker so we know all of the SOPs needed per department, so that way we can start tracking it as we're making progress. And some of the departments have already done several of the SOPs since this has been made available to them. Strategic planning documents, we're in the works with that. Like I said, this is very helpful to create those. And those strategic planning documents incorporate the KPIs. And then we're working on Q alerts as well. Some of the stuff we'll have to assess, understood that, there's a point here, but we've got to figure out really where do we start with some of these and how do we prioritize them. For the stuff for budget city council, one that came through was like, hey, you need mandatory annual performance appraisals. We were just talking about that conceptually, that's hard to really incentivize people to take those seriously when there's not a merit-based increase. It's just cost of living adjustment. So we can discuss that with council further, really like how do you incentivize people based on the current structure. The feasibility study, we'll bring that to council. And then there was a suggestion of moving some of these shadow IT roles under the IT department, still having them dedicated to the relevant departments, but just being managed under IT. And we can bring that to council as part of a budget discussion as well. And then, they mentioned the cross-training of staff. There's so much of where we need to clearly define the job descriptions and titles in that career ladder that we need to tackle that first before we can really get into what does an effective cross-training program look like. So in summary, there's 7 of these that we're already actively working on. There's 8 that we've got to research further. and there's 4 that we'll need to bring back to council. But like I said, this has been incredibly valuable that we've got this 384-page document, so that way we can build our long-term plans, we can put the SOPs in that long-term plan, we can put the KPIs in that long-term plan, and that really gives us marching orders for all 13 departments. So the timing of this is incredibly valuable, the information was incredibly valuable, and so again, we appreciate council taking this initiative, and we'll use it as we build our long-term plans and make progress towards those.
Okay, David, thank you. Thank y'all for spending your morning with us. We appreciate it very much. I know we're going to be having more conversations. We will follow through with another opportunity for the elected officials to participate. I think most of them want to. They just probably have shoved it on the back corner of the desk, but we'll try to stimulate their thoughts along those lines again.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right. Ms. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. On our agenda, it's a very short business agenda. First item that needs a vote is zoning at 3849 North Linden Drive, going to single family. 2. That's ready for action.
All right. There's a motion second. Any discussion on that item? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Thank you, Pat.
That's approved. That Kelly petition request is approved. The next item is a body art housekeeping amendment.
Motion second for approving that item. Any discussion on that? Any questions? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, and I apologize to the public, we're having some problems with our voting machine, so we'll be doing all voice votes today.
All right, that's approved. And the last item we need approval or a vote on, the Animal Services Advisory Board.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that item? All right, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, that's approved.
That's approved. Then, Mayor, we would ask for an executive session, requests on acquisition and disposal of real estate and litigation. That's all we have listed.
All right, well, good. We'll move with Counselor Tucker.
Yes, I wanted to ask the clerk or attorney, today is officially Albany State University move-in day, and Megan's time is at 1, so I'm gonna have to leave and help her pack and get on the road. Yeah, so we doing college move-in. Is it possible for me to vote affirmative for the city manager's agenda now, or can I do like a pre-vote on it? No, I can't.
You'd have to call it up all together.
Yeah.
Normally we do it separately, Mayor, but you'd at least have to call it up and get a joint vote on everything.
Well, I thought that I could do that vote, but I'm gonna have to leave probably before
It's important.
this, yes. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Counselor. All right. Public agenda, we'll remind everybody you'll have 5 minutes, and I'll apologize in advance if I have to cut you off, because I will cut you off for 5 minutes. Have an opportunity to come back at the end of the clerk's agenda for an additional 3 minutes. Just let us know when you're taking your seat after the 5-minute session that you want to come back. All right, first is Mr. Tim Mason regarding Paws Humane, rescheduled, I think, from the last meeting. He canceled today. Oh, I saw it. I'm sorry. I just saw the one earlier. All right, Ms. Teresa Elamine, representing Southern Anti-Racism Network.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. As disturbed as I've been over speaking about pay equity and speaking up for women, This is Black August. So I'm also speaking up for the many Black workers who are at the bottom of the pay scale because they have been terrorized and been in a hostile work environment by facing hundreds of workers who are prison slave labor. And as important as Malden and Jenkins and as expensive as they are, I'm surprised that nobody talking about the pay scale, Evergreens, or anyone has mentioned prison slave labor. In 2011, I confronted Mayor Teresa Tomlinson at a conference at the Cunningham Center when she was doing her little speech about the haves and the have-nots. And I said, prison labor, it's a shame. And her response, it's legal. And I said, just because it's legal, it doesn't make it right. And the workers in Parks and Recreation, pretty much all prison labor, public works, the garbage, the recycling, prison labor. You go to the DMV to get a driver's license, prison labor. I was meeting with Ms. Hollowell in Human Resources number 10, prison labor. Nowhere you could go in the Columbus Consolidated Government for many years that you didn't see hundreds of workers that are prison labor. When I requested the turnout sheets, Ms. Sheffield sent me a letter saying it was a state secret. I pulled out my book on open meetings and open records, and Ms. Sheffield corrected herself and said I had to pay for the copies. The best $10.40 I ever spent. Warden Herbert Walker, I got the turnout sheets for every dorm for the 2 months of January and February in 2012. I got the turnout sheets, every single dorm. Over 400 workers turned out as slaves every day. That's why the pay scale is the way it is for the workers earning starvation wages. That's what you have done. And as I said to Mayor Teresa Tomlinson, you have no moral compass that you would do that and claim that you're saving $19 million using slave labor. That's what she said. $19 million. And the same year that the pension plan was in the toilet, and you decided you would take 15 years to make it solvent. That was also in 2012, with workers paying 8% into the pension plan who were new, and the other workers paying 4% into the pension plan. This is who you are. This is who you are. And you don't need Evergreen. You don't need Malden and Jenkins spending our tax dollars to tell you you have no moral compass, because budgets are moral, political, legal documents. And you need to get your moral compass in place. Pay equity is reparations for the workers. And I know they're watching, because I run into them all the time on the street, and they tell me they see me defending their rights. I'm serious. I can't see the clock, but I'll keep talking till you tell me to stop, but I will need the 3 minutes. I usually look at that clock over there. Okay, I see my time is up, and I'll try to hang around, because I do have a lot more to say about what the social power is that the workers have to get their pay straight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Salome. Okay. Next is Ms. Mary Reynolds, opposition to ICE cooperation. Ms. Reynolds here? All right. Mr. Gregory Foster, support for Sheriff Greg Countryman. Welcome, Mr. Foster. I know you know, but if you would, start with your name and your county or city of residence.
Yes, sir. My name is Gregory Foster. I reside in the Chatham Woods subdivision, Columbus, Georgia, 31907. Apologize in advance for my allergies. Greg Countryman was elected sheriff of Muskogee County in 2020. Since then, there has not been one single reported incident involving a wrongful death or even the excessive use of force committed against any resident or visitor to Muskogee County by ICE. Those of you that are not familiar with the inner workings of the law enforcement community may not realize how much, excuse me, a county sheriff impacts the behavior of all law enforcement personnel permanently or temporarily working within their jurisdictions. Simply stated, the abuses of power by ICE that has happened in other jurisdictions have never happened in Muskogee County because Sheriff Countryman will not allow it. Every state has county sheriffs, with the exceptions of Alaska, Connecticut, and Hawaii. And every law enforcement professional that works within all of the counties throughout the country know exactly what they can and cannot do in each individual county. And it does not matter if those law enforcement professionals are federal, state, or local, or if they serve as agents, troopers, marshals, deputies, police officers, or correction officers. Up in Harris County, Sheriff Mike Jolly makes sure that law enforcement professionals know what will not be tolerated in his jurisdiction. Across the state line in Alabama, within Russell County, law enforcement professionals know what Sheriff Heath Taylor will not allow in his jurisdiction. And all law enforcement personnel that come into Muskogee County are briefed before they even get here. They are undoubtedly told that Sheriff Countryman is a consummate team player. He is well-versed in every aspect of law enforcement. He's a devout Christian, and he has genuine respect, tremendous empathy, and the appropriate level of concern for all people, regardless of their ethnicity, race, or national origin. They are also informed that when Sheriff Countryman speaks, his voice is heard throughout our region, throughout the state of Georgia, and nationally. I'm not going to get into the specifics of 287G because Sheriff Countryman explained it clearly. I know from my 40 years experience in law enforcement that 287G is just one of dozens of programs whose purpose is to facilitate interagency cooperation between different law enforcement agencies. Each of those programs are typically governed by memorandums of agreement or memorandums of understanding. And those memoranda are very specific to the agencies involved. Sheriff Countryman informed the public about the 287G task force model that he selected from the Muskogee County Sheriff's Office. He explained that it would place his personnel in specific positions within the task force, and by doing so, it would allow the Muskogee County Sheriff's Office to gain ready access to criminal intelligence from federal, state, and concerned local agencies. It would establish seamless connections with international law enforcement partners. When appropriate, allow him the ability to obtain federal funding needed to conduct joint operations in order to suppress drug trafficking within Muskogee County. WTVM, the Ledger Enquirer, and WRBL just reported back in June that our Sheriff's Office made one of the largest seizures of cocaine ever made in Muskogee County. 2 suspects, Jose Tamez III and Jose Tamez IV, a father and son team, were arrested for drug trafficking. They smuggled 42 pounds of cocaine with a street value of $2.3 million into Muskogee County. That arrest, in and of itself, proves that Sheriff Countryman's concerns and actions taken were and are justified. Going forward, isn't it prudent for our sheriff to gather criminal intelligence to determine if those traffickers had connections with local drug dealers that may still be on our streets, in our neighborhoods, or near our schools? I think so, and that's what he did. Listen, I work drug suppression in Muskogee County and can tell you that whenever that amount of cocaine is involved, someone is likely to get killed. And it is more than likely that that is exactly what would have happened until Sheriff Countryman and his highly skilled deputies got that poison off our streets. We should be grateful and thank them for doing that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Foster. All right, next, Ms. Kim Decker regarding public comment decorum and sign regulations. Welcome, ma'am. If you would, just state your name and your city or county board residence.
Good morning, Mayor, elected members of council, clerks, and all other city members of the panel. My name is Kim Decker, and I am a resident of Columbus, Georgia, Columbus. Before I begin, I want to address a quick point of order regarding today's agenda, and I just could be possibly a little bit confused, but I noticed my item is listed under public comment and decorum and sign regulations. I question if I'm the only citizen on the city agenda seemingly reduced to just delivering a public comment. Maybe I'm just confused a bit. More importantly, I want to clarify that although I am a novice to regulatory processes, I'm here to offer more than just a passing public comment. I'm here to request a direct answerable action from this body, elected body, and others, whether that comes as a verbal response today or a formal follow-up. For the sake of absolute clarity and to gain true answers to my concerns today in my appearance, I will be mindful to explicitly state my expectation and all of my future requests from council. As you can see here, I did bring a protest card, and this is just what I call it. I don't know what it is. This is just the only thing that was in my vehicle to bring. But I wanted to make sure that it is visible on the camera, as that is the point of my contention today, as I don't see it visible today, camera person. Today I'm here to speak about the use of physical protest signs, placards, and banners inside the city council and chambers, such as the cart behind me. Let me be clear, my appearance today is not about the message on the cards, as I may personally agree or disagree with what is printed on any given physical protest card or placard. I firmly believe that there is a time and a place for everything, and since public forums are vital for community engagement and for shaping legislative judgment, I personally feel that the presence of large handheld visual displays inside the room has become a significant distraction. I particularly noticed this problem while watching back the July the 28th City Council meeting on YouTube. Throughout the broadcast, there were constant resetting and shifting of protest cards, such as a card behind me, to ensure that they stayed visible on the camera, all while other citizens were at the podium speaking. These items overshadow residents who are trying to voice their local concerns. This isn't just my isolated observation, but I've seen others make that same frustrated outburst. Although these displays are seemingly peaceful, they compromise fairness. Every single resident of Columbus deserves an equal, undistracted opportunity to present their cause to City Council. And just speaking in general, although these displays are seemingly peaceful, they compromise fairness. Distractions like ringing cell phones and sidebar conversations take away from that uninterrupted opportunity. And thank you to the nice enforcers in the nice brown uniforms that ensure that we don't have that continuous interruption. I am asking City Council to consider establishing clear guidelines, and if there are already guidelines in place, I do expect the same nice gentlemen in the brown uniform to enforce that. Just looking for continuity, fairness, and equality to everyone in attendance, and so that we can all have the same opportunity to voice our concerns. When I was, another thing for continuity and just streamline fairness, I've heard a lot about consistency in city leaders. When I was scheduled on the City Council on June 16th, I was listed on the public agenda. But when I was rescheduled on the 28th, it didn't show rescheduled. So my concern is what constitutes you putting rescheduled on some and not the others. If you don't have any comments today of me or any suggestions, I will be sending a formal email after my appearance so that I'll be sure to get a response. So that will be clear if we can use the placards, if we can show data this, data that, you know. I took time to come here, so I just wanted a response. Sometimes I hear response, you know, to others, but it's just a thank you for coming, and that's nice too, but sometimes if you take your time to come, you want a slight response.
Yes, ma'am, and your time's up, but I will tell you that there have been some discussions, not only around council, but
I can't hear you, sir.
there have been some discussions around council about some modification of the of the guidelines for appearing before council. The public agenda, which is the vehicle that you are using right now, is supposed to be reserved for questions and actions that they're asking the council to help with.
Right.
It's not so much a.
So I question and you all
Yeah,
are supposed
no,
to answer?
I get, yeah, it's not a give and take. If there is some ordinance change or some procedural change that council needs to make as a result of the speaker, they'll typically take care of it at the table or they'll ask for some additional information. So I appreciate you being here. I just wanted you to know that council has heard some of the concerns and they are working on it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All right. All right, and next, I'm sorry about messing your name up, is Miss Riquina. Hey, I'm sorry. Welcome. Yeah, you can give. And if you would, just start with your name and your county or city of residence.
My name is Sanquinetta Ray Canna. I am a resident here of Columbus, Georgia. I've been here for about 9 years, and I am one of your nurses in the community. But I'm here today for my organization, the Xi Mu Upsilon Sorority Incorporated. We are a non-collegiate sorority, but we do our basics just as well as those that's collegiate. What I'm asking for right now, we're gonna do a community to baby shower, September the 26th, my organization, and we're asking for different people in the community to help us give these young ones, the babies, a fighting chance of having clean diapers, having clean clothes, having bottles and the necessary things they need for their first stages of life. I know that this is not something that you probably will all do, but I just so happened to run into a young lady while I was walking the streets of Columbus, passing out my flyers, trying to build partnerships with people, just so that we can do one of many of our initiatives. And the community baby shower was our first one here, where we have boots on the ground. We've done multiple ones virtually, where we have given, done fundraisers to give money to St. Jude's for children. We've, a lot of our things have been fostered around children, and our upcoming initiatives that we have coming forward will focus on feeding the hungry, helping those that's homeless, giving food to packing food and working with Feeding Across America. My team has already signed up for that. We're participating in ALS walks and also breast cancer awareness. Anything that we can do to help raise money for the community, for people in need, that's what we're here for. That's what Xi Mu stands for. And as their founder and president, I ask you to help us on this first initiative here in Columbus. And the baby shower will take place at the South Columbus Library. And I look forward to any contributions that you can give. If you look on that second page of the baby shower list, we have an Amazon registry, and I have had some people to go ahead and start sending things in to help us. And I'm hopefully looking at that, maybe we can help 40 to 50 moms between Piedmont and St. Francis hospitals to give these babies a chance, because our future starts with us, and to be a part of that change, it starts with me. Thank you. I yield the floor back to you, Mayor.
No, thank you. And so the deadline for donations is September 18, and the event itself is the 26th, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you for what you're doing to try to help out the new mothers.
Thank you so much.
All right, and next is Mr. Corey Wilson, Department Oversight and Accountability. Mr. Wilson? All right, Mr. Wilson is not here. All right, well, that'll take care of the public agenda. Next, we'll move on to the city manager's agenda.
Thank you, Mayor. Number one on the agenda is the street acceptance, Flame Street, that portion of Georgia Fire Street, and that portion of Confetti.
Motion second for the approval of Flame Street. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Are there any opposed? All right, that's approved.
And that's the approval for the acceptance of Flame Street and the portion of Confetti Blush Drive for a new development. The second item is GDOT street lighting agreement. Approval is requested to enter into an agreement between the Georgia Department of Transportation and the.
Motion second to approve item 2. Any discussion on that item? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, that's approved.
And this is for Georgia Power to handle the lighting for a TIA project, so even though we're not building it. Number 3 is the intergovernmental agreement with Columbus Waterworks.
Motion second to approve the intergovernmental agreement. Any discussion on that? All right, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? That's approved. All right, so there's a motion and a second to approve the application, rehousing application on item 4. Is there any discussion on that item? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, that's approved. If you would, go through items 3 and 4 so that the public knows.
So for the number 3, that's to transfer the property located at 1125 Alexander Street and beneficial use of improvements of portions of 1331 Alexander Street and 1315 Alexander Street. And they'll provide future opportunities for Columbus Waterworks administrative, environmental service, field service, and maintenance personnel. The fourth one is for State of Georgia Department of Community Affairs, Georgia Rehouse application for Valley Healthcare, and this is the approval to apply and accept if awarded the State of Georgia Department of Community Affairs Acute Homeless Response and Prevention Services Grant through Georgia Rehoused on behalf of Valley Healthcare in the amount of $250,000. And so that would basically be the pass-through. Next.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve item A through F on the purchases. Is there anyone would like to have pulled? All right, well, all in favor of approving that slate of purchases, please say aye. Any opposed? All right, they're all approved, and if you would.
I'll quickly go through them. So the A is for a Chevrolet Suburban for MCP, that's in the budget. B is for sidewalk construction repairs for engineering. These are replacing the curbs. I know someone at council had mentioned about Waverly Terrace, so this would include the curbs at Waverly Terrace. C is for the Clerk of Superior Court. They've got a large effort to digitize historical records, and this was for a portion of those historical records. D is for a rescue pumper for fire and EMS department, and that's, sorry, and that was out of SPLOST, and that's in budget. And then E was to lease 3 fire engines through public safety. The emergency purchases are for information only.
We got a question. I'm sorry. Excuse me, Mr. Manager. Councilor Garrett?
Oh, I can wait till the end.
Oh.
It's a point of personal privilege.
Okay, well, we'll come back to you. Also, I want to take a second to thank our firefighters out here for being in the audience to support purchase of that apparatus.
And then we've already covered item 6, the first presentation from Alden and Jenkins. And so we do have one more presentation for AED project update from Lauren McIntosh.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a point of personal privilege. I just wanted to go ahead and put it out there since we may not have another council meeting in between. I'm hosting a town hall for District 8 on August 22nd at noon at Columbus Tech and Patrick Hall, P100. Just want to make everyone aware of that. And then we're scheduling a all hands on deck for September. So if for some reason you've got any concerns or anything in District 8, you can bring those to the town hall, and we'll also include those when we do our all hands on deck in September. Thank you.
Very good. Lauren?
Good morning, Mayor, Council, City Manager, Mr. City Attorney. We wanted to give a brief presentation on our outdoor AED project that Risk Management has been working on for the past year. During the FY25 budget, we were able to purchase 30 outdoor AEDs, stands, towers, to make a whole complete unit for our parks and our public outside areas. Currently, we have installed 12 of the 30, and we will have the rest of them done by the end of this fiscal year. We came up with this project because we realized that our indoor AEDs that are in our city facilities and our recreation centers, they are not going to help someone that is in our park or at the Riverwalk if they have a cardiac event. In order for an AED to be successful, you really need to have an AED present on that patient within a 3 to 5 minute window. So we decided that we needed to go with an outdoor system to help the citizens that are outside in the public. The outdoor units are a little bit different than what we have inside of our inside areas. They are locked on a 24/7 basis. And the only way that you are able to access that AED is by calling 911. We did work with 911 to create a system. If a citizen has to access the AED, they call 911. There is a door lock code on the AED. The dispatcher will give the citizen the code, access the AED, and then they're able to place it onto the patient. So it's simple as calling 911, giving the location of where you are, enter the code on the AED, grab it, and then of course dispatch will contact fire and EMS to come to the scene. Currently, the 12 locations are listed here. We are in the process of adding to our parks, and we will start on the second phase in the next couple of weeks. But so far, these are the areas that we have posted. And this is a story map. CCG TV can load that, and it will be on all of our websites, the risk management website, fire and EMS, and Parks and Recreation. And it shows all of the outdoor AEDs that we have. I thought they were going to get it up there. Okay. This is the commercial. Again, they would have to launch that. Oh, they're working on it now.
At any moment, anyone can suffer from sudden cardiac arrest. In Columbus, every second counts. As Georgia's first consolidated government, we are dedicated to a seamless web of safety for every resident.
CPR, I'm supposed to CPR. Somebody call 911. I've got 911. 911?
When you call 911 in Columbus, you're connected to a system that does more than just dispatch an ambulance. We're implementing AEDs throughout various locations in Columbus, Georgia.
911, what is the emergency?
Hey, my friend's collapsed. I don't think he's breathing. We have someone perform CPR, but we need help.
What is your location?
We're downtown near Roger Park, right by the splash pads.
Okay, there's an AED kiosk right near you. Look around, do you see it?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, you need to go to the kiosk and I will give you an access code to retrieve it and just follow the instructions on how to use it.
Okay, I'm here.
Help is on the way. Please keep following the instructions and continue CPR until help arrives.
AEDs, automatic external defibrillator, always everywhere, daily. The City of Columbus has installed AED boxes throughout the city. When calling 911, you will be connected to a dispatcher who will confirm your location and the nature of your emergency. Guide the caller to the closest AED box and give you a code to access the device, and walk you through how to use it until first responders arrive. By having AEDs within our community, we bring advanced life-saving capabilities to your side faster than ever before. These life-saving measures give individuals the best chance of survival. To learn more about these life-saving measures, please contact CCG Risk Management at 706-225-3080 or at our website.
And that just shows the community a little bit about how they work, and we are going to push that commercial out to our social media platforms, YouTube, CCG TV, so we're going to try to get that out so the community is aware of how the machines actually do work, and so they'll be more comfortable with them. And I would also like to add, with our AED program, we have been able to have some employees certified through CPR, AED, Narcan training, and we're also now adding Stop the Bleed tourniquets to our AED boxes inside of our buildings, just in case there is an active shooter or anything like that, where we need to have that life-saving technique as well. And so far, we have certified 249 employees throughout the city in CPR training. So I would like to recognize some of the people that made this possible. I know Fire and EMS is here. They were awesome in some of their acting abilities. Facilities maintenance helped install all of the units, and IT created the story map. So all of them are here. I would like for them to also be recognized for this.
Lauren, that's a terrific program. I mean, it really is. Councilor Allen, I know, remembers back when Red McDaniel was on council, he suffered a heart attack, and it was the impetus behind his wife really going on a crusade for AEDs. Some of the first AEDs that were placed in the city of Columbus were done so by Joe McDaniel, raising money from the public and trying to get those done. Now to see them placed in so many different areas, y'all are doing a terrific job. It's no doubt it's going to save some lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
The last thing I've got on the city manager's agenda is just a verbal update.
You want to hit your.
Just a verbal update for the ADA coordinator designation that we were asked about last month. We have named Lauren McIntosh, who is our risk manager within the HR department, as our officially designated ADA coordinator. She will serve as the central point of coordination for ADA-related matters across the city, and we will update the website to include her direct contact information for ADA-related matters. Furthermore, we've established an internal ADA committee with representatives from key operational departments. So for citizens to start the process for an ADA issue, citizens should contact 311 to initiate an ADA-related concern. The 311 Customer Service Center will collect the information and forward it to Lauren as the ADA coordinator. She will then coordinate and route the matter to the appropriate department for follow-up.
Very good. All right, thank you, Lauren.
Thank you all.
All right, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On the clerk's agenda, the first few items we have are travel authorizations. The first one is for Counselor Barnes.
Motion is second to approve items 1 through 7 on the clerk's agenda. Any discussion on any of those? All right, all in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? They're all approved.
And very quickly, I did want to say that items 1 through 5 are travel authorizations. These travel authorizations include authorizations for Counselors Barnes and Cook, and also Counselor-elect Aaron and Zajac to attend the ACCG Newly Elected Commissioners Conference. This is state-mandated training that is required for all newly elected commissioners. And also, Counselor Cook has requested to attend the National Foundation for Women's Legislator Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, and those have been approved. And the 2 resolutions, these are changing the meeting dates for November and December, and we will make sure to have these meeting dates posted on our Facebook and also updated to the CCG website. And I would like to ask an add-on resolution to excuse Counselor Huff from today's meeting.
Motion second to excuse Counselor Huff. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? He's excused.
We have minutes of various boards to be received.
Motion second to receive the minutes. Any discussion or anyone want any of those pulled? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? They're approved.
Next, we have board appointments. First, we have for the mayor, we have the audit committee. The seat for the finance, accounting, or governmental representative seat is vacant. For the Columbus Sports Entertainment Authority, we have a vacant seat for a CPA. And the Pension Fund Employees Board of Trustees, we have a vacant seat for a representative of the business community. Item 10 are council appointments that are listed for confirmation for the Columbus Golf Authority, Keep Columbus Beautiful, Liberty Theater, Planning Advisory Commission. If I can get a motion to confirm all those.
All right, there's a motion second to confirm all 3 of the individuals just named. Is that right? All right, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, those are confirmed.
Next, we have nominations that are confirmed by council for the Historic and Architectural Review Board. We have a vacancy for the Uptown Business Association. 12, we have council district seat appointments. For CDAC, we have a vacancy for District 1. For the Public Safety Advisory Commission, we have vacancies for Districts 2, 3, 4, and 5. And for the Youth Advisory Council, we need nominees for Districts 9 and 10, and I believe Counselor Cook has a nominee for District 9. Very good.
Counselor Cook?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Victoria Watson, who's an 11th grader at Columbus High School, to the Advisory Council.
Okay, motion and a second to confirm Ms. Watson. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, and
Counselor Chambers?
I'd like to appoint Mr. Jordan Barge to the Youth Advisory Council.
all right, is there a second to that? All right, there's a motion second to approve Mr. Barge. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, he is confirmed.
Thank you, counselors. Next, we have council appointments, and any nominations would be listed at the following meeting. For the Animal Control Advisory Board, we still have 2 vacant seats listed. We will be updating the board website consistent with the ordinance that was just approved today. For the Board of Health, we need a nominee. There is also a vacancy on the Building Authority of Columbus. We need 3 nominees for the New Horizons. Personnel Review Board, we have vacancies for alternate members 1, 2, 3, and 4. For Region 6, we need a nominee for Dr. Bussey's seat. And for the Tree Board, we have 3 at-large seats, 1 residential development, 1 commercial or industrial development, and 1 public utility representative. And I know Councilor Kogel is working with members in the community to get nominees to fill these vacancies. And there was a handout passed out to council of board appointment add-ons. This is for us to satisfy the needs of our hospital authority and the medical center hospital authority. For each vacancy, council submits a list of 3 eligible persons for each authority, and this list is then forwarded to the authority for them to select from. Once they have selected an individual, they will then submit that individual's name back to council for confirmation. For each authority, there are 3 individuals listed. And if I just need to get a motion to submit these to the authorities.
Thank you, Mayor. I would make the motion, and I think Dr. Cook has seconded, but we would like to nominate to the Hospital Authority Dr. Asante Hiltz, Sonia Johnson, and Mimi Woodson. And then to the Medical Center Authority, Warren Steele, Travis Trade, and Tracy Sayers.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have a motion and a second.
All right, there's a motion and a second to pass those on. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Ms. Elamine, did you want 3 more minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we could get the microphone. And I know we don't need it, but we missed you the first time. Just say your name and your city.
Well, Teresa Elamine, District 3. And I just want to say that there's a lot good in Columbus. Unfortunately, treatment of the workers at the bottom of the pay scale has not been a good thing, and it's been consistently bad. And I do want to thank the workers for their dedication. I'm kind of a once a union organizer, always a union organizer. And I say to the workers, you have the social power to demand pay equity as reparations for the hostile work environment that you have experienced for decades, having to face prison slave labor as your replacements. That's who these people are. These are the bosses. And I have fought bosses all my life. And you are the bosses. And number 10 claims to be an HR guy. Well, if you're really a good HR guy, then you will come up with an ordinance and you will get the 6 votes to correct the pay scale. And number 4, who does all that talking, well, let her get with you and you come up with an ordinance. I'll look forward to that first reading when all the workers show up and stand for a correction of the pay scale. That's what you need to do. Show that you have a moral compass and that you are being fair with the budget because you have the money. You have just decided to spend it somewhere else because you are the bosses who need to be challenged for what you are doing to the workers. And I say to Isaiah Hughley, who supported the prison labor, you have that to atone for. So when you're the mayor-elect Isaiah Hughley, you don't owe Teresa Tomlinson anything. You can correct what you did at her direction. That's what you can do, Mayor-elect Isaiah Hughley. In January, whoever wants to do the ordinance, you will have your 6 votes because I worked very hard, 13579 in the mayor's office. You will have the 6 votes in January. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. No one should run unopposed. You're the bosses. and you have to be challenged. And I say to the workers, you have the social power to do it. Power concedes nothing without a demand.
Thank you,
It never has and it never will.
Thank you, Ms.
Stand up, workers, stand up for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. All right, we have had a request to go into executive session to discuss property acquisition and disposal and litigation. All right, so we'll ask everybody to, motion second to go into executive session. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, we're headed to executive session. If y'all would, please clear the chambers. All right, we went into executive session to discuss acquisition, disposal of real estate, and litigation. And I'm going to call on our city manager. City attorney, sorry.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. The resolution that has been passed around the table, we would ask for a vote on it. It would settle all claims of Amanda Guthrie for injuries resulting out of an accident on April 14th, 2025.
Second.
All right, there's a motion second to approve that settlement amount. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, that is approved.
Thank you.
Motion and second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right, we are hereby adjourned.